When the search began for a missing 83-year-old woman in Bodmin, England, no one suspected who would end up saving the day. We were initially called by the female's carer who reported her as missing, explained Eleanor Richards, Bodmin Police Community Support Officer to Newsweek. The female lives in a rural location and her property is surrounded by large fields. Tamar Lungmere, the woman's neighbor, was having a typical Saturday afternoon when she heard an unexpected knock on her door. Standing outside was a friend of the 83-year-old who wanted to let Tamar know that she'd gone missing. And so the search began. Joined by some family members, Tamar began by combing over their sizable farm. I went off in my truck to search our farm and fields, but there was no sign of her, she said. Just when they seemed to have reached a dead end, they spotted Piran, the missing woman's cat, by a gate leading to one of their maize fields. The determined black cat was meowing incessantly for their attention. The cat is very attached to her, Tamar said, and he was going back and forth in the gateway and meowing, so I decided to go and search the maize field. Going through the maze was no easy task. Their crops were around 7 feet tall at the time, making it difficult to see. Rather than rely on sight alone, Tamar began to call out the woman's name. My cows could hear me calling and were mooing back. I was hoping they would go quiet so I could hear, she said. Just as I was going to go off the path and start going through the crop, I heard a very faint response to my calling. I then quickly realized my neighbor was down the 70-foot ravine. She had gone through the barbed wire and was laying in the stream. We think she'd been there for hours, Longmire said. The woman's circumstances were scary. She had fallen approximately 70 feet down a very steep embankment with incredibly difficult access and uneven terrain, explained the police department in a Facebook post describing the incident. Tamar cautiously made her way down to the woman to check for major injuries. Thankfully, she seemed to be okay, all things considered. Unable to call for help from where she was, Tamar had to climb halfway up the embankment again. When she got a signal strong enough to make a call to the other searchers, she brought in the cavalry. Soon, the police, 12 vehicles, and around 25 crew members from emergency services showed up. The 83-year-old, who was suspected to have been in the ravine for hours, was quickly airlifted to the hospital. Although she has to stay there for a while, according to the Bodmin police, she is in good spirits. Needless to say, everyone involved is incredibly grateful for the huge role Piran played in the rescue of his mom. Without the cat waiting at the gate to that field, it could have been hours later that I or anyone else would have checked in there, Tamar said. What a loyal kitty. We're so glad he was able to help his mom in her time of need. The two of them will be reunited once she's out of the hospital. Cornwall is a fairly rural county, so it's not unusual for us to get called to individuals who may need assistance and access is tricky, explained Richards to Newsweek. There's a lot of moorland and coastline to contend with, so we work closely with our partner agencies and volunteer organizations to achieve the best result possible. I can't say that we've ever had assistance from a feline, though. That's a first, she added. According to NBC News, a 2019 study revealed that cats see their owners as a source of comfort and security. In fact, cats can form attachments to their human counterparts that are not only comparable to dogs and their owners, but human babies and their caregivers. According to the news outlet, these findings are useful for debunking the myth that cats are standoffish and do not feel a strong connection to their owners.
If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with your friends and family. Thanks again, and we'll see you in the next one.